Sometimes you can just be in a funk creatively, as a person, and it's like there's a fog around you and you can't see out of it, but that's part of the journey.
Fast Fire and Smoke, we're back for week 9, Illinois week. This is a pivotal week which will determine where this team is going to go and where it's headed. But forget this next 5-game stretch. The key component right now is Illinois. That will determine what we're made of. Look back 2 weeks ago against Purdue, Nebraska. We showed a good grit, we showed fire, determination, even despite circumstances of injuries. But we battled, we fought. Needless to say, Purdue did come on top. However, I do feel this team has a lot of fight left in them, and it's going to show this week against Illinois. Both teams are coming off a bye week. The coordinators stayed home, so Whipple and Bush, they stayed home for this bye week to focus on the game plan, to get everything ironed out, and just solely focus on this game. As we look to this game, I'm hoping to see a little more flashes of Rahmir, and hopefully we can see some Tommy Hill deep threats to offset Trey Palmer buckets. That was a nice 17-yard run by Rahmir, and it was even mentioned that Tommy Hill was open a couple times there against Purdue. Hopefully this week we can come out against this top-ranked defense and show that we can have a passing attack that can be among the best in the Big Ten. And we've definitely got to put up points to offset some of our deficiencies on defense. We got to match their physicality and come into this game rested and rejuvenated. We did in the Purdue game lose linebacker Nick Heinrich, and hopefully the other linebackers step up and not miss a beat. Overall, now looking at Illinois, basically the entire team, it's centered around 3 phases. They got their quarterback, they got a strong run game, the lines, and then it's centered around this intense defense that they've got, even though they have not been tested truly. This Illinois team looks resemblances of past Wisconsin's teams. They've got to Nebraska's got to match their physicality, punch for punch. And this team, this Illinois team, they don't make mistakes. They turn the ball over. They play well together. It's a very seasoned team, kind of like Purdue. In Nebraska, they definitely can't beat themselves and give Illinois the short field and easy scoring situations. And to be honest, I was more worried about Purdue's offense than I am Illinois' offense, even though they do like to run. Illinois likes it. A lot of the stuff they do good is a lot of the stuff Nebraska doesn't do well on defense. So hopefully the defense can show up the deficiencies. They can tackle well, fly to the football, stay on their assignments, and just match physicality. Illinois coming into Memorial, looking at their schedule, they truly haven't really truly been tested. They played Wyoming open this season. They lost there 38-6. They ended up playing Indiana, losing a close one, 23-20. And then that game they kind of showed some deficiencies in the pass game. So there are some spots where Nebraska can gain some yards there in the pass game and open up some holes in the secondary. They went on to begin their 5-game win streak with a win against Virginia, 24-3. Then they played Chattanooga, where they won 31-0 in a shutout. And then Wisconsin, the Paul Chryst Wisconsin, they beat them 34-10. And that's what. And after that game, Wisconsin ended up firing their head coach. Then the next week they played Iowa and won 9-6. Iowa just before half missed a field goal, which could have determined the game a little bit later on. But needless to say, Illinois won that game 9-6. And they were coming off, and then they ended up playing Minnesota, and they beat them 26-14. They ended up holding Minnesota to roughly, I believe, 38 yards passing. So the pass defense was definitely dominant in that game. And like Nebraska, they're coming off a bye week as well. Looking over at Nebraska, they've definitely got to stop the run. They got to slow it down. Hopefully some changes on how they approach the run defense and maybe personnel, they can end up slowing this Illinois run game down and hoping to make them at least a little bit of a one-dimensional, making them honest that Nebraska can put them in some second and long and third and long defense and get this crowd into it. Nebraska's got to play sound defensive assignments. They got to stick together. They got to trust each other as a team. They've definitely got to, the D-line has definitely got to control their gaps and make sure that DeVito doesn't beat him with his feet. He shows the ability to take off running and make some good key first downs with his legs. And Nebraska defensively, they've just got to get some stops early, and they've got to hit hard. We've got to match physicality. We got to stand up to every punch that they throw. On the offensive side, Nebraska, we need to establish the run, whether that's getting Ramir involved a little bit and Yant. We need to break a couple good gains, at least some 10 plus, and hopefully a 20-yard gain. We need to get some honest runs in there. And if they try to blanket Trey Palmer, open it up, and the other receivers have got to step up. Hopefully we can see Tommy Hill on the other side, maybe get some deep throws, make them honest on who they're really going to cover, and then get some underneath routes to Vokalek and Washington. We got to make sure we catch the ball with no drops. We essentially have to play a perfect game, sound, physical Nebraska football. Illinois does come in this game with one of the top-ranked defense. They have the third-ranked rushing defense in the nation, first in the Big Ten. They're also first in scoring defense, but like I alluded to earlier, I don't think they've really been tested by an offense. Hopefully Nebraska can be sound on offense, come out there with a great game plan, be explosive, and we definitely can't turn any balls over. Nebraska's averaging over 2 turnovers a game. The defense for Illinois is averaging 2 takeaways a game, so hopefully we don't give them any balls. Nebraska has to play strong in all 3 phases. We got to be solid on offense. We got to make some stops on defense. Our special teams, we've got to make some big plays there. Hopefully we can get some long returns, and you never know, maybe we'll get another block. So coming off this bye, Nebraska's got to be well prepared, rested. And this leads me to my 3 keys for the game. We got to hold Brown to minimal damage. He'll probably get 100 yards, but we've got to make him earn it. Nebraska's got to be physical. We've got to be physical on both sides of the ball. And the third key, we've got to open up the passing to set up the run. We got to get a strong passing, huge games from the receivers, and everyone's got to step up as a whole, as a team. I truly don't think Illinois has really been tested. I think Nebraska's offense really gives Illinois some fits, and Nebraska ends up grinding this out with some big plays through the passing game, a couple good runs, and Nebraska ends up winning this 31-24. They end up beating their first-ranked team since 2016 when they last beat Oregon. So this win opens up the floodgates, gains confidence, and makes a noise for Mickey as head coach even louder. Here we go. For the 5-game stretch, Nebraska beats Illinois in a surprise ranked win at home. Let's go, Big Red.